Oxford? The postcard says dreaming spires, punts drifting past mossy colleges, maybe a chap in a straw boater humming Elgar. Lovely image, now chuck it. In the 1300s, this town was basically a knife fight with bells on, 5 times deadlier than London. Imagine a 15-year-old trotting to logic class with a sword on his hip and, if he was late, a battle axe under his cloak. That's the Oxford the prospectus leaves on the cutting room floor. I know, medieval students, murder capital? Weren't they too busy illuminating manuscripts and eating gruel? Well, the receipts are in, and they're blood-spattered. Parish coroner's rolls, university rulebooks, and a brand new toy called the Medieval Murder Map all sing the same grisly tune. Oxford really was the worst place to stay alive in England. Stick with me, and by the end you'll understand why, and start side-eyeing every safe city you've ever loved. Section 1. Welcome to Murder You. Picture a university that's 1 square mile of mud and shouting, packed with about 1,500 teenage boys who've just discovered ale and existentialism. 90% of them are between 14 and 21, living in dorms nicknamed the Irish House, the Welsh Hall, the Northern Hostel. Translation, built-in turf wars. Toss in bargain basement beer, absolutely zero cops, and the medieval get-out-of-jail-free card called Benefit of Clergy. Read a Bible verse? Congratulations, secular law can't touch you. Murder before breakfast, Aristotle after lunch. Very neat, very Oxford. Section 2. The 1298 High Street Brawl. Let's slow motion a Tuesday in May 1298. 2 scholars outside the Ale Steak Tavern on the High are arguing about who owes what to Alice, a local freelancer of affection. Within 60 seconds, 30 students burst out swinging falchions and hatchets like it's Black Friday. John Burrell, 16, catches a 6-inch dagger straight through the skull. 6 inches deep into the brain, the coroner notes, as if he's grading produce. The killer strolls to St. Mary's, claims sanctuary, and is escorted out of town at dawn. Everyone else goes back to drinking. Rinse and repeat. Section 3. Town versus gown, round 1. Locals loathe the students. Students despise the villains who triple the price of bread. Tension snaps on St. Scholastica Day, February 10, 1355. A tavern row over sour wine snowballs into a 3-day urban war. Scholars ring St. Mary's bell. Townspeople answer with All Saints. By midnight, 63 clerks are dead, scalps peeled, plus at least 20 townsmen. They even turn the shattered gate timbers into tacky souvenirs. Oxford's mayor and both bailiffs cool their heels in the tower for a year and pay a fine big enough to build an entire college. That's town gown bonding, medieval style. Section 4. Inside the dorm wars. Who needs outsiders when you've got roommates? In 1296, a northern lad sneaks a harlot into the Welsh Hall. His hallmates stab him 14 times for contaminating the carpet. Same term, a Scot named Duncan knifes his Irish roommate over whose turn it is to buy kindling. Proctors rock up, find the body cooling on the stairs, and shrug. Clericus est. Mumble Psalm 51, and you're on the road by sunset. Section 5. Women and the margins. Women show up in the roles more often than you'd think. Marjorie de Hereford, stabbed in Cheap Street when a client refuses to pay. Agnes the baker, beaten with her own rolling pin for trying to stop a brawl. The clerks label them a woman of ill fame, a servant, but their deaths spill the violence far beyond the lecture halls. And let's not forget the Jewish quarter, emptied by the 1290 expulsion, whose former landlords once owned 1/10 of student housing. Their vacant properties become rent war flashpoints. More than one Saturday night ends with a corpse on the stoop. Section 6. Weapons check. What's in the freshman survival kit? Coroners list a sword worth 1 mark, a small axe from the Cat Street cutler, and once a Welsh hook rehafted by the town smith. Picture today's dorms where every freshman shows up with an AR-15 and a six-pack. Iron's cheap, every hall has a forge, and sharpening blades is basically an icebreaker. Mix with beer cheaper than water, and fights ignite before the bread rises. Section 7. The law-abiding cleric. The justice system is the cherry on this blood sundae. Kill a townie and you hang. Kill a fellow clerk, though, and it's in-house. The university chancellor, half Don, half Mafia Don, levies fines payable in wine or candles. If the killer bolts, the whole hall splits the tab, so every student has a vested interest in keeping his roommate marginally non-homicidal. Medieval Venmo for blood money, if you like. If this is your idea of a campus tour, hit subscribe. Medieval Madness drops fresh campus carnage every week. And tell me, which modern safe city do you suspect is sitting on a secret body count? Drop your guess below.
Section 8.
Body count stats. Let's crunch numbers. Modern London, 1.5 homicides per 100,000 people. Medieval Oxford, 1290 to 1350, 75 per 100,000. That's 50 times worse. Living there was statistically as risky as living in present-day Caracas. Chew on that while you queue for the gift shop fudge. Section 9. The perfect storm. Why Oxford? 5 ingredients, 1 lethal cocktail. 1. An army of armed teenage males. 2. Weapons and ale on every corner. 3. Housing sorted by ethnic grudge. 4. A literacy loophole that lets you walk after murder. 5. 0 actual cops. Shake daily, garnish with town gown resentment, ferment for a century. Out pops England's deadliest city, now politely summed up as home of pretty libraries and rowing teams. So when someone says, Oxford, so peaceful, you can smile and reply, absolutely, if you ignore the 500-year murder spree. Now, over to you. Which other famous city is still hiding its own pile of bodies in plain sight? Drop your guess below.